Hello parents, welcome to the update for today, Wednesday the 25th. As we talk about our day, we started off with weekly work. I added the fourth part of weekly work today, and again it's an activity on text features. The students grabbed it and added it to their folder. That was the first 25 minutes of the day. Then we went into math class. Today in math class we looked at basically two checkpoints, or just two little quizzes. One of them was on using parentheses and operations, and the other was on understanding dimensions in volume. We spent a little bit of time reviewing and then took those two quizzes in the Bridges curriculum to see how we're doing. And I will have those graded and returned probably by tomorrow. After math, we jumped into our specialist, which was technology. Technology was followed by language arts. Today in language arts, we talked about, I just grabbed somebody's notebook, we talked about how to skim and what purpose does skimming serve. When we skim an article, before we read it, what are the things that we look at? We also had a vocabulary lesson today, and so you can see some of our vocabulary entries. Then we practiced by looking at an article. We skimmed an article that was actually, kids were kind of surprised by it, but it said, it talked about all work and no play, and this is an article that deals with the positive and negatives of recess. So then we took a look at this article out loud and discussed what we read from it, and if what we read from it appeared to that mental image that we got after we skimmed it. And then we realized that the reason it did is when we skim, we look at text features. So we made a connection to when we're skimming, we look at these different text features, and it helps us prepare for what we're reading. But then we always ask the question, is what I skimmed what I read? And most of the time it matches up depending on the text feature. After that, we had Number Corner. Today in Number Corner, the students, we looked at our layer a day investigation. I just pull up my messy notes quick for that, and we tried to make connections today to dimensions, how dimensions give us volume, how layers are equal to height, and how, this idea of constructing with Unifex cubes different prisms, how each prism sits on something called the base. And so we're kind of closing down our September investigation of volume for Number Corner. We ended by having the kids create their own 5-layer. Started by building a base, and then we had them slowly add a layer till they got to 5 layers or a height of 5, and they had to fill in the dimensions, the volume, the area of the base for that as well. After that, we had writing, and today in writing, the students worked use the graphic organizers that we used the last 2 days. One of them on the different parts of a story: rising action, climax, falling action. The other one on making sure we have used our senses, figurative language, we've described characters. We've done a lot of brainstorming with that, and they had about 20 to 25 minutes to edit their writing today to make their seed writing better. We followed that by library checkout with Mr. Sheeman. He looked at books that have been banned and reason books are banned, and talked about the freedom of speech and the freedom authors have. Then we had to read aloud, and this afternoon they had science with Mr. Hobbs, and my guess is there would be science homework. Homework for us, weekly work, we have 2 days left in the week till weekly work is done. Here's an exit slip for math and what it looks like. And just pay attention to, there are some problems that ask to solve volume, some problems that ask to solve surface area, 2 of the things we've covered recently in class. That's about it in the 5th grade. It was a great day. The kids are doing a wonderful job. Thanks for sending me great kids, and have a good night.